Good day, dear professional accountants. This video is brought to you by the Accounting Media, and my name is Philip Bakare. Today we'll be exploring the standard IAS2 inventories, and in exploring this standard we'll be looking at the introduction, the definition, the scope, the measurement of inventories in line with IAS2, the reasons why inventory will be expensed, the effect of COVID-19 on IAS2, the disclosure requirement, as well as solving a question on this standard. In introducing this standard, I'd like to mention that IAS2 lays out the required accounting treatment for inventories, and the major area of contention is the cost value of inventories to be recognized in the financials. So I'm saying that inventories is at first recognized as cost of sales up until when the related revenues are recognized in order to justify the matching concept. In defining inventory, this standard says that inventories are assets that are held for sale in the ordinary course of business, that is finished goods, or assets that are in the process of production for such sales, that is work in progress, or assets that are in the form of materials or supplies to be consumed in the production process, which I like to denote with raw materials. The scope of this standard covers finished goods, work in progress, and raw materials. However, the following items are excluded from the scope of the standard, and they are financial instruments, which is treated in line with IFRS 9, biological assets related to agricultural activities and agricultural produce at the point of harvest, which is treated in line with IAS 41, and work in progress under IAS 11, construction contracts, but now replaced with IFRS 15, revenue from contracts with customers. The standard says that inventory should be measured at the lower of cost and net realizable value. However, there are some measurement exemptions on commodity dealers and brokers who would rather prefer to measure their inventory at fair value less cost to sale, and producers of mineral, agricultural and forest products who measure their inventory at net realizable value. Measurement at cost. The cost of inventories will consist of the purchase cost, the conversion cost, and other costs. The purchase costs are all direct costs less trade discounts, while the conversion costs are costs directly related to the unit of production, which could be direct materials, direct labor, and fixed and variable production overhead that are incurred in converting the raw materials to finished goods. However, the inventory costs do not include abnormal waste, selling costs including advertisement and marketing costs, interest costs, administrative overhead that is not incurred to bring the inventory to their present location and condition, storage costs, and foreign exchange differences arising from when inventory is invoiced in foreign currencies. All these costs would not form part of the inventory cost. What are the measurement techniques? For convenience, when items are small and in large quantities, the standard allows two methods of measuring them, and they are the standard cost method and the retail method. The standard cost method is used by producers of large amount of small items, while the retail method is used by retailers with large turnover with identical profit margin. Cost formula. In using the cost formula, the standard requires us to answer the following questions. Number 1, are the inventories not interchangeable? 2, are the goods or services produced for specific projects? If yes, use the specific cost method. But if no, the standard requires us to use the first in first out method or the weighted average method. The last in first out method is not allowed by the International Financial Reporting Standard. However, it is of use by the US GAAP. Measurement at net realizable value. In measuring inventory at net realizable value, it is necessary for us to know the estimated selling price, the estimated cost of completion, and the estimated selling cost. So the estimated cost of completion and the estimated selling cost will then be deducted from the estimated selling price in order to arrive at a net realizable value. There are cases where net realizable value can be lower than cost, and they are when there is an increase in cost or a fall in selling price, when the products are obsolete, when there is a physical deterioration in the condition of the product, when there are errors in production or purchasing, and when the management decides to use a marketing strategy to manufacture and sell products at a loss. Expense recognition. The following basis will want us to treat inventory as an expense in the financials, and they are: 1. Whenever there is any difference between the cost and net realizable value. 2. Whenever there is any inventory loss or stolen. 3. At the point where inventory is recognized as an expense, that is, cost of goods sold up until when revenue is recognized. And 4. Whenever there is an amount of reversal of any written down value of inventories arising from an increase in net realizable value. What are the effects of COVID-19 on IAS 2? The emergence of this pandemic forced a lot of entities to recognize their inventory at net realizable value. Also, a lot of companies made a loss, and the losses are recognized immediately, and it also led to a lot of idle capacity because the government put in measures to ensure that the pandemic do not spread as fast as it could. Hence, there is a lot of idle capacity. Therefore, IAS 2 requires that the fixed production overhead should be allocated to inventory based on normal capacity, and the remaining unallocated amount should be expensed immediately. What are the disclosure requirements? The standard requires us to disclose the accounting policies, the carrying amounts of inventory, the amount of inventory written down as an expense in the P&L, the amount of reversal of written down to NRV and the circumstances that led to such reversal, and the carrying amount of inventories pledged as securities for liabilities, and the cost of inventory recognized as an expense, that is, the cost of goods sold. To end this session, we'll be looking at this simple question. A company has inventory on hand at the end of the reporting period as follows. So we have the unit, we have the raw material cost, we have the attributable production overhead, we have the attributable selling cost, and we have the expected selling price, right? And so we must always get the cost and net realizable value and pick the lower of the two to be the cost per unit in which inventories will be recognized in the financials according to IAS 2. So for item A, we have 300 units. These are the costs, right? That is the raw material cost and the attributable production overhead. Okay, so if you add $160 plus $15, we have $175 as the cost. Yeah, and for the net realizable value, it is the expected selling price minus the attributable selling cost. Okay, and that is $185 minus $12, which will give us $173. So for item A, we would see that the net realizable value is lower than the cost. Hence, we use the net realizable value as the value of inventory to be stated in the statement of financial position in line with IAS 2. So if we multiply $173 by 300 units, we would get $51,900. So that is the total amount of item A that will be recognized in the financial statement. So for item B, the cost is the raw material cost and the attributable production overhead, which is $60, and the net realizable value is the estimated selling price, which is $75 minus $10, which will give us $65. But in this case, we are having a cost that is lower than the net realizable value, so we'll take the cost to be the value of the inventory. So if we multiply $60 times 250 units, we'll get $15,000. So the total value of inventory that will be stated in the statement of financial position in line with IAS 2 is $6,900. Thank you for having me, and see you next time.